All right, so first we're going to talk a little bit about knife safety. We want to make sure the number one thing is that you're comfortable with your knife. Any of your knives at home should be appropriately sized. If you are using a cutting board, you want to make sure that the cutting board is never smaller than the knife is diagonally across it. If it is, you're going to have it hanging off, you're going to cause all kinds of problems. Anytime you're uncomfortable, you're going to be putting yourself at risk of cutting yourself. We're going to talk real quick about sharpening your knife. This is actually honing, so this is a honing steel. Sharpening would be using a grinder to actually grind down and put a new edge on the knife, where honing is just kind of bringing that edge back. So I was going to start at the base of the knife and work your way down to about a 20 to 25 degree angle, all the way down to the tip this way. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side, back the other way. Always dragging it the full length of the knife and equal times across each side. As many times as you need to do it to get it sharp. It should only take a few. This knife is already sharp, but I am just showing you for demonstration. And anytime after you hone it, you're going to want to wipe off the blade a little bit, because as you can see there's a little bit of residue, which is the little pieces of the knife that you've nicked off from actually honing it. Now you're ready to start cutting. As we get started here, I want to start by showing you how you need to be holding your knife. So, like I said in the beginning, you want to make sure that you're comfortable with the knife. And one of the most important things there is having a firm grip on it. You're holding, a lot of people have a tendency to put a finger out in front here. That is not good. That will not give you the control you need. You want to choke up a little bit on the knife here and you're almost pinching the bottom of the knife here with the rest of your hand around the base. That will give you the most control you can have. So you're going to hold it very tightly like this. And like I said before, make sure that you're comfortable with your knife. It's the right weight. When you go knife shopping, make sure you pick them up and kind of handle them for a little bit to make sure you're comfortable with it. Now as we get cutting, we're going to be focusing on a rocking motion. This is a French style knife which has a blade that tapers back at the tip. That is intentional so that when you put the tip down, you can do a rocking motion and it will cut through everything that you're cutting appropriately. We're going to be julienning these cucumbers here. I'll start by taking a slice off here, laying it down, and we're going to use that rocking motion to cut through and make julienne cuts. Just like that. For this recipe in particular, we are then going to take that julienne and turn it into a dice by going back this way. And you end up with this nice julienne cucumber for our recipe. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is dice up these Roma tomatoes. So we're going to take off the very end of them. We're going to cut them in half the long way here. Lay them down flat. And what you're looking for here on this recipe is about a 1/4 inch dice. So you're going to run the length of the tomato a few times depending on the size of the tomato. Turn it sideways here and do the same size square cut in the opposite direction. That will leave you with a nice dice. Again, the long way, turning it back, cutting in the opposite direction. Alright, so next we are going to show you the same dice cut on this mozzarella. Depending on what you get, sometimes they have the longer logs that are pre-sliced, they have the whole logs. This is just one of the balls. So we're going to start by cutting it into sections here, just like this. And then you're going to take this and cut 1/4 inch cuts the long way. Turn it, and the same size cuts back the other way. And that will leave you with that nice diced fresh mozzarella. Alright, next we are going to mince this fresh garlic. I've already got it peeled, and we're going to start by taking our knife and running across it the long way, similar to how we were doing with the other items. And then we're going to start running the knife back and forth across it, which will end up giving us that nice small mince. You want to be thinking about that minced garlic that you see in the jars at the grocery store, but this is much better because it's nice and fresh. So you're going to run the knife across it this way. And then the same thing in the other direction. And you start to see a mince here, and based on your recipe, you're going to decide how small you need to go. This is pretty much a fine chop here, and as you continue to take the knife back and forth across it in alternating directions, you'll end up with a much finer mince cut. Now this is what we're looking for our recipe here. Nice mince. All right. For this next step, we are going to do a chop on these fresh herbs. This is curly parsley and some fresh sweet basil. For the chop on this recipe is very rough. It's just in order to get them a little bit more bite-sized pieces. And you're just going to run your knife across it this way, again this way. And that's really it. You're not looking to bring it down really small. You're looking for it to still be good-sized pieces. Same thing with the basil. Across one way. These are nice stacked up fresh leaves. And back the other way. And that's it. And you're going to be mixing these together to put into your nice salad. Alright, thank you for joining me with this little technique lesson here. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. Now we're going to go over and see how Leanne puts the salad together.